Hello peeps, welcome back to FTR, and we've got another properly busy batch of confirmed Premier League transfers to get through. No rumours, no bloke on Twitter saying his mate's cousin saw somebody at Heathrow. These are the deals that are actually done. 14 confirmed moves, some big money, some interesting ones. A couple that came slightly out of nowhere, and we'll finish with a pretty significant Premier League change for the new season, as betting companies finally disappear from the front of shirts. So let's get into it. And we'll start with the biggest name of the lot because Arsenal have completed the signing of Bruno Guimarães from Newcastle United. This one took a bit of getting there. Arsenal had an opening bid rejected, talks continued, and eventually the two clubs agreed a fee of £75 million. Bruno is 28, a Brazil international, and arrives as another absolutely serious midfield option for Mikel Arteta. He's taken the number 39 shirt as well, the same number he wore at Newcastle, due to his dad's taxi number in Brazil. And look, Arsenal's midfield options were hardly held together with parcel tape before this deal, were they? Declan Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Lewis Skelly, and now Bruno Guimarães wandering into the building as well. That is a fairly ridiculous collection of midfielders. Newcastle lose their captain and one of their biggest personalities, while Arsenal get a player already completely proven in the Premier League. 75 million quid is a lot of money, obviously, but this isn't a punt on potential. Arsenal know exactly what they're buying. Chelsea have also been busy because Valentin Barco is officially a Chelsea player after joining from Strasbourg. Barco is 22, an Argentina international, and has signed a contract running all the way through to 2033. So yes, Chelsea continue their ongoing mission to hand out contracts that appear to have been written by someone planning for the next ice age. Financial terms haven't officially been disclosed, so I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but the important bit is that the transfer itself is done. Barco can play at left back and further forward in midfield, and Chelsea clearly like the versatility. He already has experience in England from his Brighton spell, then rebuilt his momentum in France with Strasbourg, and he was part of Argentina's squad at the 2026 World Cup. He now joins Xabi Alonso's Chelsea squad for the new season. Another young player, another very long contract, another Chelsea transfer. Some traditions survive anything. Ipswich Town have made two midfield additions in this episode, and the first is Florentino Lewis. The Portuguese midfielder arrives from Burnley on a 5-year contract, running until the summer of 2031. He's 26, and although neither club disclosed the fee, reports have put the initial figure at around £16 million plus add-ons. Florentino gives Ipswich a proper defensive presence in the middle of the pitch. He's the sort of midfielder who probably enjoys ruining somebody else's afternoon more than scoring a 30-yard screamer, and every team needs one of those. He already knows the Premier League after his time with Burnley, so there shouldn't be too much of an adjustment period either. For a promoted side, signing players who already understand the league can make a massive difference, and this feels like a pretty sensible bit of business. And Ipswich weren't finished there. Sasa Lukic has also joined from Fulham. The Serbian midfielder has signed a deal through to the summer of 2030, with the official fee undisclosed. Reports around the deal have put it at roughly £9 million. Lukic is 29 as of today, although he turns 30 in 2 days, so happy birthday in advance, Sasa. He brings experience, physicality, and plenty of Premier League minutes with Fulham. Put him alongside Florentino, and suddenly Ipswich have added 2 experienced central midfielders in the space of a few days. There's nothing particularly glamorous about it, but promoted teams don't survive because every signing looks good on TikTok. Sometimes you need blokes who know where to stand and don't panic when Manchester City have had the ball for 6 consecutive minutes. Hull City have also made 2 really interesting signings, starting with goalkeeper Konstantinos Tsolakis from Olympiacos. The Greek international is 23 and has signed a 5-year contract. Hull officially described the fee as undisclosed, but reported that British media were putting the deal at around £20 million plus add-ons, which would make him Hull City's record signing. That is serious money for a goalkeeper, especially for a newly promoted club. But Tsolakis arrives with Champions League experience, domestic trophies in Greece, and plenty of football despite still being only 23. Hull clearly haven't come up just to admire the scenery and collect the Premier League TV money. They're actually having a go at this. Whether spending that sort of money on a goalkeeper is brave or slightly unhinged, we'll find out soon enough. Possibly both. Hull's other signing here is Norwegian midfielder Jens Hjertodal from Tromsø. He's 26'4" and has signed a 5-year deal. Hull again haven't officially disclosed the fee, with reports placing it somewhere around £8 to £10 million. Hjertodal is very much a development signing, but not the sort where you buy him and hide him in the under-21s for 3 years. He's already played senior football in Norway and comes with the physical profile you'd expect to translate quite nicely to English football. Big, mobile, technically tidy, and still only 20, Hull have basically bought themselves a 6'4" Scandinavian midfielder. If Football Manager has taught us anything, that should probably be illegal. Coventry City have smashed their transfer record again, this time for Caleb Jurenki from FC Nordsjælland. Jurenki is 20 years old, and importantly, because one of our earlier graphics managed to turn him Danish, he is a Ghana international. Reports say Coventry are paying around €27 million, roughly £23 million, with another €3 million potentially due in add-ons. Nordsjælland have also described it as a record fee received by the Danish club. Jurenki is a midfielder with loads of energy, athleticism, and room to develop. And this is a massive statement from Coventry. Not long ago, 20-odd million quid on a player at Coventry would have sounded like somebody had accidentally added a zero. They're in the Premier League now though, and they're spending like they intend to stay there. Nottingham Forest have strengthened their defence with Ousmane Diomande from Sporting CP. The Ivory Coast centre-back is 22 and has signed a 4-year contract with an option for another season. Sporting confirmed the deal was worth around €40 million, which works out at roughly £34 million. Diomande arrives with a very decent CV already. He made more than 100 appearances for Sporting and helped them win back-to-back Portuguese league titles, as well as the Portuguese Cup. He's quick, powerful, comfortable, defending big spaces, and still young enough that Forest could potentially have a top centre-back for years. A little surprised one of the big boys didn't go for him, to be honest. Forest finished 16th last season, so strengthening the spine of the side was pretty obviously going to be a priority. 34 million on a defender is not pocket change, but this one makes plenty of sense. Now to one of the stranger deals of the window. Everton and Crystal Palace have completed a straight player swap, with Brennan Johnson moving to Everton and Dwight McNeil heading the other way to Palace. No transfer fee changing hands between the clubs, just 2 wingers swapping shirts. Johnson is 25 and has signed a 4-year contract at Everton. He only joined Palace from Tottenham in January for around £35 million, but his spell at Selhurst Park never really got going. Everton clearly see an opportunity to get a player who, at his best, brings pace, direct running and goals from wide areas. And considering David Moyes has never exactly complained about having someone who can run very quickly in a straight line, you can see the logic. Going the other way is Dwight McNeil. The 26-year-old has joined Crystal Palace from Everton on a 4-year deal, with Palace holding an option for an additional season. McNeil gives them a natural left footer, good delivery, Premier League experience, and a different type of wide option to Johnson. Straight swaps are bizarrely rare in football, considering every fan suggests about 40 of them during every transfer window. You'll see somebody online saying, just give them our winger, 10 million quid and a bag of crisps, as if actual football clubs work like FIFA career mode. But this one genuinely happened. Johnson to Everton, McNeil to Palace, job done. Palace have also added Takahiro Tomiyasu. The Japan international defender joined on the 7th of August after leaving Ajax. He's 27 and gives Palace another player capable of covering more than one position across the back line. Tomiyasu obviously knows English football very well from his time with Arsenal, and he brings international experience with Japan as well. Palace haven't gone and bought a shiny new teenager here. They've signed someone who can probably walk into a Premier League dressing room on Monday and understand exactly what's expected by Tuesday morning. That sort of experience is useful, particularly in a squad that's already seen a fair bit of movement this summer. Let's just hope he stays fit. Fulham have completed the signing of Shea Charles from Southampton. Charles is 22, a Northern Ireland international, and has signed a 5-year deal keeping him at Craven Cottage until June 2031. Fulham have officially listed the fee as undisclosed, although reports have put it around £30 million. Charles is another young midfielder with plenty of senior football behind him already, and Fulham clearly think there's another level to come. He can play centrally and offers that combination of physical presence and tidy possession work that managers seem to adore. $30 million is a sizable investment if the reports are accurate, but at 22 you're buying years of development as well as what he can do right now. Liverpool have added Ronald Araújo on a season-long loan from Barcelona for the entire 2026-27 campaign. The Uruguay international is 27 and arrives with more than 200 appearances for Barcelona behind him. Liverpool's own announcement says the move is for the 2026-27 season, and he's already linked up with Andoni Iraola's squad. Araújo brings pace, aggression, aerial ability, and a huge amount of Champions League experience. Liverpool adding a defender of that pedigree on loan feels like very low-risk business. If he's fit and firing, they've basically borrowed an elite-level centre-back for a season without having to immediately commit to the enormous permanent fee you'd normally expect. And if you're a striker looking at Virgil van Dijk and Ronald Araújo standing next to each other in the tunnel, I'd imagine your hamstring suddenly feels a little bit tight. And finally, among the transfers, Leeds United have broken their club record to sign James Trafford from Manchester City. Trafford is 23, an England international, and has signed a 5-year contract. Leeds officially called it an undisclosed club record fee, while reports have consistently put the figure at around £40 million. That is a massive amount of money for Leeds and a massive show of faith in Trafford. But goalkeeper is one of those positions where getting it wrong can ruin an entire season, particularly for a side trying to establish itself in the Premier League. Trafford is still young for a keeper, already has a lot of senior experience, and Leeds clearly believe he can be their number one for a very long time. £40 million though, you'd want him catching crosses, penalties, corner flags, and possibly the bus home for that. So that is 14 confirmed Premier League transfers as things stand on the 11th of August 2026. Plenty of money flying about already, and we're still not even at the opening weekend. There are so many rumours about you don't want to believe sometimes. And before we go, there's another change worth mentioning because you'll notice something different when the new Premier League kits come out this season. Gambling companies are no longer allowed as front-of-shirt sponsors in the Premier League. The clubs voluntarily agreed the change back in 2023, with the ban taking effect from the end of the 2025-26 season, meaning 2026-27 is the first campaign under the new rule. Gambling brands haven't disappeared from football completely. Clubs can still have them in other sponsorship positions where permitted, but the massive betting logo slapped across the middle of a match shirt is gone. Considering how normalised gambling advertising became in football over the last decade, that's actually a pretty significant change. Whether football suddenly becomes a wholesome village fete because of it is another matter entirely. But personally, seeing fewer betting logos plastered across every kit isn't exactly going to ruin my weekend. That'll do us for this one. 14 confirmed transfers, plenty more still moving behind the scenes, and with the season nearly here, I suspect the next episode won't take too long to fill up either. Let me know which signing you think is the best bit of business so far, and which one has your club absolutely mugged someone off for the fee. If you enjoyed it, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, comment if you fancy it, and I'll see you in the next FTR. Cheers.